Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is the time as we get ready, get set, get going, and are entering our last couple of weeks as a regular show, as a show here on AMI Audio, available on YouTube, and of course our podcast. But I'm telling you, we're going to take it out in style. On today's show, is water enough to keep us hydrated through the scorching summer months out there? Let's talk summer hydrations with nutritionist Julia Karantjas. Plus, Apple wrapped up this year's Worldwide Developers Conference, and Michael Babcock, he's here, of course. He's got his highlights as he always does. And ladies and gentlemen, stand by for a ticket giveaway.
This is Kelly and Company.
Kelly MacDonald here on your Monday as we welcome you to another week on the program. Scheduling note, we won't be having a show on Wednesday. The staff are meeting on Wednesday for a staff event, so no edition of Kelly and Company. Nisreen Abdul-Majid joining me. Niz, what's going on? How's the socials? How's life?
It's been good. It's been busy, that's for sure. How about you?
Same way. Had a wonderful time away. I was down south and really had a great time visiting. Thank you. Yeah. Well, it's a tough time because got things to take care of. We're getting ourselves ready for the exiting of the show and some other announcements, of course, down the way. There's always so much business and so many people to talk to, and you know, the tears, folks. I mean, we've had a ball doing this show for so many years, and we're gonna hear that and have that basically proven.
The tears are real.
Yeah, and the people who are coming on the show who are then in a month going to be, hey man, something's missing. Oh yeah, that show. But Niz, what a way to do something kind of cool as one of the last things we get to do, the last potential giveaway on the program that we get to do, because that's always been fun. I remember as a kid, I always loved the idea of, it'd be cool to be a DJ and give something away. And quite frankly, we get that opportunity to do this today. Now, we had Megan Follows on here to talk about the Oakville Festival of Films. Okay, this is something we've supported for a few years and always had a chance to bring somebody on. Usually Wendy comes on and we talk about it. If you live in the Oakville area, the 2025 Oakville Film Festival does kick off this Wednesday, June 18th. That's at 5:30 p.m., okay? With a particular film of probable interest to our listeners and to definitely us, a film called The Blind Sea. This documentary features Matt Formston, an Australian surfer with only 3% vision who takes on monster waves in Portugal. Now, if that doesn't pull you in, the action in it would be tremendous, and the experience. Now, we've got some pairs of tickets to give away. It's interesting, too, because, Nisreen, when I first heard about this, I guess before I went on vacation, I heard about the film, and it reminded me of my time doing Blindsided, which was the TV series that you can find on YouTube that I did for AMI for a few years. The cool thing I got to do was try out seeing if I could surf and get that experience. So I had heard about and even did a really interesting chat with a guy who had actually done some surfing as a blind person, and it was amazing just to get that idea and speak to him about the experience way back then. It was, I got to speak to the film creator. That's what it was. We had the guy who created the film talking to us from California, which was really amazing. But it's so much fun to get into this stuff. So if you are in the Oakville area, are interested and available Wednesday to do this, we have 5 pairs of tickets. We'll do this on a first come, first serve basis. If you'd like to attend, please email info@ami.ca, and the subject line we'd like you to use to qualify, Blind Sea. Blind Sea, and we'll send those tickets to you so that you can be a part of this. First come, first serve, a pair of tickets. We've got about 5 pairs. So once again, info@ami.ca with the subject line Blind Sea. It will be a lot of fun, and looking forward to it for those who get that opportunity. And they do this film festival up really well, Nisreen.
Yeah, first of all, before we move on to pets and happy things, I want to skip over the fact that I have a big fear of oceans, and knowing that only 3% of my vision, what you see the ocean, that's just even more terrifying. So we're waving on that, okay?
What are you afraid of? The
Because
fish, the sharks, the water, the waves?
the fact that we only discovered what was the percentage? 20% of the ocean, or I forgot the percentage, but there's so much that we don't know about the ocean, and the unknown scares me.
Yeah, we actually, it's funny. We know more about space than we do the oceans.
Isn't that wild though? Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Like that I can't believe. But that terrifies me. Just not knowing terrifies me. But
Well,
we're
we know
moving
I'm
on to
consistent.
happy
We
things.
know I'm consistent. For me, it's I don't want to be touched by some fish creature, octopus or whatever. I don't mind them on a
the
plate,
seaweed
but no.
creeps me out when I feel it running up my leg. It's so weird. It's a weird feeling. Starting in November of 2016, Kelly and Company's Ask a Veterinarian segment has been on the air for almost 9 years. For her last appearance on the show, Dr. Danielle is going to briefly recap her favorite episode from each year and see if our hosts agree with her choice. So, what did you pick as your favorites, Danielle?
Well, I guess we'll start with 2016. So November 15th, 2016, we did an episode of cat communication. So in this one, we talked about how eloquent cats are with their body language, how good they are at swearing. And we even got to hear sound clips of all kinds of cute kitty sounds and some feline cussing.
Well, you can tell in the
those
intonation. I
videos.
used to. Well, that's it, right? Because you guys watch those online. I mean, I used to say that about the music of horns, right? You can tell what someone's intent by the sound of how they beep their horn, whether it's get out of the way or step aside, I'm coming along, right? So I felt the same way about cats, and I'm sure dogs, that you kind of have that, hey, this is my message to you, leave me alone, or hey, I'd like to know your good friend, my best friend, your hand, the one that feeds me and pets me.
Yep. Well, cats are very good at communication, let me tell you. And then October 31st, 2017, and I kind of suspect that Kelly and Ramya will never forget this one, and that it will go down in the annals of AMI history. It was the top 10 most disgusting things we see in veterinary medicine. So we covered everything from exploding anal glands to abscesses to parasitic grubs that need to be removed from the skin. I'm not really entirely sure that you guys ever really forgave me for that one.
Oh, no. And what was amazing about it, Nisreen, and everybody out there who wasn't with us then, is it was our first real Halloween. The show went on the air in Halloween, so we launched it. It was amazing feel. The following year, what are we going to do? What are we going to do to celebrate the show, but also recognize Halloween? So the studio was all decked out. Kind of, we had some gags and creepy stuff for the people who at that time would come into the studio at 1090 Don Mills, where we were formerly before the recent move. But we had it all set, and then we bring Danielle on, and she starts talking about this stuff, and that was it. It killed everybody's dinner. There's no way anyone out east was eating. There's no way I was going to dinner afterward. Forget it. Exploding anal glands and everything else that she had, parasites. It was just, oh my gosh. And again, remember, I was not an animal person, so I was hearing stuff I never knew about or wanted to know in some cases. Great, Danielle.
That's how you start a show for sure.
Well, and that's my number one for sure, because that's the one I recall being the most squeamish at. And I grew up, folks. Trust me, those of you who love animals, I have grown up over the time.
You come a long way.
Thank you.
Well, and then in 2018, February 6th, the Winter Olympics were going on in South Korea. So we actually ran a theoretical Winter Animal Olympics on the show. So the premise was, if human athletes were competing in events against their animal cousins, who would their competitors be? So, we pitted flying squirrels against ski jumpers and wolf packs against hockey teams. And, and it was just so much fun, and I honestly still believe that the river otters would have won the luge event had they been allowed to compete. I actually got an email from the producer on that one too, and he was like, "Wow, that was so great! Thank you so much." I was like, "Wow, that never happens. It's great."
It was great imagination, and Nazreen, one of the things that we used to try to sell everybody as contributors when they'd start saying, "Well, you know, I've had a few of these pretty heavy topics lately. Just find something to change it up." And Danielle seemed to get a really good formula fairly quick as to the serious stuff she wanted you to sit up and listen to, and then the stuff that we could do like this, take into account and do Let's Pretend. Wonderful.
I love that.
Well, we tried anyway.
We did. Oh, goodness, yeah.
And then that brings us to 2019. So October 22nd, I did my favorite animal story. So this one was all about me gushing about my favorite movies and documentaries about animals. You know, some were fiction, others were not. So I talked about my favorite tearjerker movie called Dark Horse, you know, and then we laughed about the BBC's Faulty Towers episode that they called Basil the Rat. You know, the one where the hotel owner was trying to catch his employee's pet rat before the health inspector sees it and fails. And, you know, and there are newer documentaries out now, but, you know, I also really used to love that Blue Planet series and the March of the Penguins documentary. And that shows, you know, how the toughest birds on Earth survive in Antarctica, which is like the harshest environment imaginable on Earth. Yeah. So it was a pretty neat show.
I love that.
Yeah.
Did you watch that one? Like the Penguins one or the Blue Planet? I remember that. I think I've seen some of that. The Penguins, I feel like I have, but I'm not sure. Nazreen, do you like those ones?
I'm interested to see them, but I haven't seen them.
Yeah, I think the March of the Penguins. When you talk about distance, and I think that's what we were talking, right, Danielle? The distance, it just blows your mind of what territory they would cover for searching food, for taking care of their families.
And how. Oh yeah, and how they all ball together to stay warm while they're holding their little eggs on their feet, and you know, and everything. Like it's crazy. Like you have to see that documentary. It's really great. Yeah.
I saw Happy Feet.
I'm sure they took some material from that documentary. Maybe they did. I don't know. I liked Happy Feet too. It was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then in 2020, so September 15th, you know, on this one, we did the Which Animal Are You quiz. So I asked you guys a series of questions to determine which animal you might have a lot in common with, and then told you why I thought so. I honestly don't remember which animals we all ended up choosing back then. So I actually took the quiz again, and it turns out that I might have a lot in common with the manatee.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and I actually made this quiz up myself, and I remember Ramya emailing me to ask where I'd found it because she said she was getting emails and other people actually wanted to take it too, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, people really love any of that kind of thing. I don't recall either at all. I remember, sorry, I shouldn't say it. I recall the discussion, and I do recall we did the quiz, and I had found out, but I don't remember now. Nazreen,
I want to know which animal I'd be.
Oh, I don't have it in front of me.
We need to take the quiz again.
Yeah, you'll have to
like right now? After the show. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I was going to say,
she'll come on here and on social media and go on about it, tell everybody what she is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, next one, Danielle.
2021, November 2nd, we had a special guest on the show that day, and her name was Anne Kane. And she told us all about the Sunrise Equestrian Therapeutic Riding and Learning Center near Guelph, Ontario. So that was a charitable organization, and it provides therapy programs, you know, for children and adults with special needs. And of course, they use horses. So, you know, they have therapeutic riding, grooming, driving programs, among other things. And you know, just listening to Anne talk about all the stuff they do, I was just like really impressed with, you know, their work. Like it was just kind of amazing.
Yeah, we had Anne on here a few months back back on the show, and we got talking about Mrs. Greenberg, the Greenberg family here outside of London, and I knew them because I was one of their first youths to get involved in the Special Ability Riding Institute that they had up here, and I remember us touching on that a little bit back then too, and of recent. But I had forgotten we'd had her on the show that far back. So wonderful, Danielle.
Yeah. And then October 18th, 2022, the fall just seems to be a really good season. I don't know why.
Yeah, right?
Because then we weren't warning people like we are now about ticks year round, it seems. Back then, it was not a big problem yet.
There was more room for creativity because it wasn't a seasonal thing, that's for sure.
Right.
But on that one, I brought out a study I had read about in the journal Neuroscience. And, we all know how great a dog's nose is, but we don't often wonder how much a dog relies on their sense of smell for understanding the environment around them. And so the researchers in the study that we talked about that day had discovered that the part of a dog's brain that processes smell is actually linked to the part of the dog's brain that processes vision, and of course that brings up the question, how much do dogs see with their sense of smell? And I know, yeah. And, I know I'm kind of a science nerd, but I thought it was a pretty neat question to ask given what the researchers had discovered. I thought that was pretty fascinating concept.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And then in 2023, September 26th, we did animal news stories. So for whatever reason, I remember seeing a lot of newspaper articles about animals in 2023. And, some of them were downright bizarre or hilarious or otherwise interesting. And, in this one, we heard about a bear that raided a van for donuts in Alaska.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
But this has started a trend, Danielle, because now you're hearing and seeing this stuff constantly. Footage as everything is recorded in the world, every moment, every inch of the planet, there's something. Yeah, you know what? Oh, I have that on video. But these were things that were kind of starting that trend, and also I think started I know news shows. When I say that, your nightly news has always tried to finish their newscasts off with something to smile about. But we've never seen so many animal-related stories, so much footage of animals doing things like this. But this was really cool as you got into this. And I think the pandemic had something to do with starting this trend.
I think it's also funny that they would rather take videos of things happening like this where it's actually scary because they're unpredictable, than calling for help. So
yes. Film first, I guess it's trash the van and film it first, then call the police.
Yeah.
I can't remember if somebody physically filmed it or if they caught it on security camera because the van was out behind the building in a loading dock, as I recall, so it might have been a security cam footage because I think the guy just came back and was like, what happened to
Hey.
They're just gone.
Was this the one too that also got it? Remember we had the discussion where the bear got into the store and ate all the chocolate?
I don't think that was the same one. No.
Okay, I think that one, but I remember us laughing about the fact that the bear was fussy over which chocolate he was going to eat. Right. Okay.
Well, I would be too, right? I mean, that's the thing.
Sure. Any of us, any decent chocolate lover would be. But it was amazing that this started, and it was amazing that you realized, Danielle, as and I know obviously as a veterinarian you're gonna notice some of these things, but it was kind of that interesting change that seems to have, that trend sticks with us.
Yeah, for sure. And, also on that one, we talked about how rats were possibly becoming a tourist attraction for people visiting New York.
Hey there, y'all.
And a concert in Denmark that trained dogs to bark partway through the music, which was really something too.
Yes. Of course, Nazreen.
I don't know how many dogs for that.
And of course, I don't quite remember that, Nazreen, because I was too caught up on the rat tours of New York. Huh? I'll scratch that off of my go-to.
Attention.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me, though, because that's what everybody talks about when they visit New York.
Yeah. And then in 2024, November 24th, I did You Might Be a Veterinary Professional, part 2. So, as I explained at that time on the show, my husband has a deep love for Jeff Foxworthy's You Might Be a Redneck comedy routine. And in true Foxworthy style, I parodied his idea, but replaced it with You Might Be a Veterinary Professional instead. So we actually did this parody twice, but I have to say that my favorite line was from the second time around that we did it. And it was, if you have ever told your own physician that you have pain in your right hind foot, you might be a veterinary professional. And yes, that really happened to me. And my doctor kind of looked at me and went, what? I was like, I'm so sorry.
Oh, what is wrong with you? Oh, I forgot where I was. And it's that little Freudian slip. I think we can fit one more in, Danielle.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, the last one, February 24th, 2025. So on this one, we actually did a fun segment about pets and politics since we were about to have the Ontario election. And my favorite little vignette from that one was when a resident of Jalapa, Mexico, was so fed up with local politicians that he apparently nominated his cat Morris for mayor. And Morris's campaign slogan was supposed to be "Tired of voting for rats, vote for a cat." And according to the news articles I read, the cat ended up finishing 4th in that election with 12,000 votes.
Way.
So there must have been a lot of people that were upset with the politics.
And if you campaigned right, you could really have good show in, like, pick the best moments of that cat to really accentuate the personality. I think that's the way you would do it if you were a good campaign manager.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how many of them have experience representing cats, but
That's awesome. Oh, that's great.
Thank you so much, Danielle.
You're welcome. Many years of lots of fun. Thanks for everything.
Absolutely.
You bet, Danielle.
No, it's
Thank
been
you.
great.
And thank you for not minding being that kind of person that we've always said, look, this is what our vet does. Hey, you know what? You could try. Our vet does. And mostly Danielle, being that person who said, I don't think I could do this. And a few days later, started doing something that's lasted almost 9 years.
Oh, that's great. I had a good time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That. Dr. Danielle Johnkind has been a staple on Kelly and Company since the inception of this show, and we've had an absolute blast with the creative, informative, always interesting subjects she brought to the show. Thank you for being part of the family, Danielle.
It's been absolute magic. When you think about it, because this is, so people say, well, so you come on once a month or twice a month or once a week and come up with an idea. And I don't care if it's from your profession, as in the case of Danielle and our next contributor coming on board. The reality is they still have to bring us accurate information. They have to frame it in a way that we can consume it, come up with some reasonable questions for us to get us started. And do this over and over again. And feel you're bringing something different so you don't get bored, because the first thing you're going to think is, if I'm getting bored doing this, the listeners must be tired of me. And to me, it's just been magic. So I'll say this over the next couple of weeks, ladies and gentlemen, fedoras off to these folks, because it has been impressive. And we have the opportunity to be able to let them say final words on the show. And I thank AMI for allowing that. It was very important to the team, everybody involved with this show, and to bring this stuff to you. We feel we've got a lot to bring to you, a lot that people have to say, but mostly, folks, they are deserving of that time to be able to come on here and let us know their feelings about the show. Now, of course, Nizreen's going to stop them and be a thug if they start getting nasty. You know what? You guys talk too much. We don't want to hear any of that kind of thing. But we appreciate your indulgence in this, and hopefully you'll ride with us for the remainder up until the 27th when we wrap the show. Speaking of, though, people have been with us for a while. Do we need more foods when it's hot outside? Or fluids, excuse me. You don't need more foods when it's hot outside because you're sleeping in the sun, and that's no good. And is water, in that case, enough? Let's talk about summer hydration with our nutritionist, Julia Karantjas. Julia, welcome back.
Hi, thank you.
How the heck would you know if you're dehydrated?
You would feel sluggish or tired. You might get headaches as well. sticky mouth, muscle cramps, like, that like cotton mouth, you could say, like a really dry feeling in your mouth. The muscle cramping would be a sign as well. And so there would be physical symptoms that you would experience that you would notice as signs that you were not properly hydrated. And anybody can get hydrated too. I mean, children, older individuals, it's not, nobody's immune to it based on their age. So that's also maybe something important to think about, that it's important for everybody to be properly hydrated, to be drinking enough fluid. Yeah. And if you are really dehydrated, you would get dizzy. Heartbeat, you would notice a different change in your heartbeat. Breathing would be more labored, brain fog, and then that fatigue. And your skin might start to get dry. Like if you notice you're starting to itch more or it's feeling a bit rough, sign that you need some more fluid as well. So those would be like further steps where you're starting to really get dehydrated.
Wow. You start thinking which ones would you get for, obviously, the certain ones, dry mouth, all that kind of thing. But when you start getting to critical, heart rate speeding up, even the skin, I mean, would that be one of the more critical ones? Because, I mean, you could still just be needing fluid regardless, moisturizer. I guess some of the others would definitely be ones that you would count on as more, hey man, you're dehydrated. And I know some people go reaching for a soda or tea and coffee, my favorites kind of thing. They're not for me a thing to hydrate me at all. I'm still going to be thirsty.
Right. Yeah. Like the common symptoms are that sticky mouth, headache. That's a big one for me. I know that's my trigger, is if I don't have enough to drink, it's a trigger for headaches for me, for sure. And then muscle cramps. So those would be common, obviously not very severe. And then the more severe dehydration symptoms are the rapid heartbeat and breathing, brain fog, and that feeling of dizziness. Those would be on the severe side. So best to definitely pay attention to your body when you get the smaller signs like the sticky mouth and have something to drink.
Yeah.
Or eat the dry mouth that has water.
I'll get the dry mouth, the throat thing, like because I drink so much coffee. Niz, what do you know as your sign? Because you're a coffee drinker too.
Oh, I get dizzy, lightheaded, and massive headaches. That's when I know.
Oh, yeah.
I think I used to get the headache. I don't know now. I don't think I do as much, but definitely, I know that I get thirstier. Sorry, Niz, you were going to ask something.
I was gonna ask her what her biggest tip in drinking more water. How can I get better, Julia?
So there's a couple of things. First, identify what's the issue with drinking the water. Is it accessibility? So then maybe purchasing a water bottle that you actually like to drink out of, and that's easy. There's lots of different kinds of water bottles. Ones where you don't have to take the lid off and it's a straw. That's helpful. Sometimes the ones that take the lids off, for me, I know I drop them, they roll, I lose them. It doesn't work as well. So sometimes finding a vehicle that is much more accessible to drink out of is helpful. If it's a taste thing, I think we've covered this a couple of times, like appropriate flavor enhancers, because we know adding sugar is not going to be that helpful, but adding maybe some citrus fruit into the water. So a wedge of lemon, a wedge of lime, a herbal tea, and you can chill teas. I mean, people drink iced tea, and that's traditionally a black tea that they've chilled, but you can ice any tea. So you can, if there's a lemon ginger tea that you like, or some sort of fruity tea that has no caffeine in it, steep it hot, chill it, ice it, and you can drink that. And there's lots of natural sweeteners, a little bit of stevia in it if you want to really enhance the flavor, because maybe it's just a taste thing. And, you don't like the taste of water, so you're not drawn to drink it. It's not very motivating. And so either finding a vehicle that you enjoy drinking out of that you have with you, because sometimes, if you don't have a water bottle with you, it's hard to drink water. Or if it's a taste thing, investigate some of those alternative flavor enhancers. So add melon, freeze any kind of fruit, and you can add it to your water, or wedge of lemon, wedge of lime. Any citrus works really well in water. It flavors it really nicely. Or maybe chill a herbal tea that you like.
Okay. I've seen people actually put fruits in the ice cube trays fill it up with water with fruit inside. I love that idea. There's so many things to
I like
add
that
here.
idea
There's
too.
so many ways to get creative. Yeah, exactly. One thing that really helped me at one point is buying that water bottle that has timings on them. So it'll say, okay, at 8 a.m. you have to finish this sip. 9 p.m., 9 a.m., and it just goes down like a few sips. It's more of motivating to look, okay, like I have to finish this much before I get to 10 a.m.
I think you can do that with your smartwatches too, right? A lot of them have that health benefit for things like take a walk, drink water.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
there's like
you
endless amount of there's so many ways to get motivated there.
And there is. And the nice thing about the timers and the things like you've said, Kelly, smartwatches or your smartphone is you can set a timer and just put it on repeat, and it's not you don't have to remember to set it every day. You could have it on a repeat or on a schedule. So every day at X amount, X hour, you're like, okay, I need to drink a cup of water or 2 cups of water or whatever, whatever that may be for you. So I mean, if you forget, you set a timer. If it's a taste thing, you explore some alternative options. And if it's an accessibility thing, you get a water bottle that works for you.
Yeah, I think that's the great one, because I'm not a big water bottle person. I've never been. Placing a glass where I, know it's nearby enough, and there's always a reason, and not drinking too much at a time. I used to I haven't had a sip of water for 3 hours, so I take a glass, and gulp it all down. Try those sips; they're important. But one of the other reasons we do this, of course, is the electrolytes. Is there quality differences in those? Because that's our big concern as well, especially working in the heat or anything.
Yeah, I mean, in the summer, it's getting really hot out. You sweat more and you sweat out electrolytes. So there are a group of vitamins, and sodium and potassium, for example, are really important, and they're what keep the cell hydrated. They pump fluid in the cell and out of the cell. And when we sweat, that's our body's way of cooling ourselves down. You obviously require more water because you're losing it, but then you're also losing these electrolytes, which is contributing to your body's ability to be hydrated, because it's helping the cell accept that water. So I think electrolyte drinks are great, but the sugar content is not the important component. It's the actual mineral content. Those are the electrolytes, things like magnesium, calcium, sodium, and potassium. Those are the 4 main ones. So there should be those minerals in that electrolyte drink. Otherwise, it's just a sugar substitute. And if you're a younger athlete that is playing, multiple rounds of soccer, or you're outside all day sweating, the sugar is also not bad, but it's not enough. You still need to have those minerals. And I do think sometimes those electrolyte drinks are not, they're different. Some of them are a little bit higher in sugar and lower in the mineral content. When it's the mineral content, that's the important one, because that's what you're losing through the sweat, are those minerals, potassium, sodium, magnesium. Yeah.
Are there natural ways to get electrolytes into our system?
Sure, absolutely. Fruit, watermelon. I actually noticed the last 2 summers, watermelon juice, watermelon like slushies, where they've just blended frozen watermelons, seem to be more popular. Watermelon's great, and you can do that. You can freeze watermelon, blend it, so it's like this watermelon slushy. You can juice it. Watermelon's so juicy. And drink watermelon juice. You could cut it down. You can make your own using your own electrolyte drink using citrus fruits. For example, maybe some honey or agave nectar as the sweetener, because the little bit of sugar is helpful. So you definitely can. These are minerals that are found in food. Potassium, you've got kiwi, you've got banana, you've got sweet potato. And so these are minerals that you do have in foods that we do eat. So you definitely can make your own if you want to, and do it a little more naturally if you have time for that and you're motivated.
So, one of my favorite things about the summer is that some events, they have they sell watermelons, and they blended the inside of the watermelon. So they put a straw, and you just drink it out of the whole watermelon. You're just holding the watermelon in your hand, drinking what's inside. It's so
like when you're on
good.
vacation and they give you a coconut.
Exactly. That's how I would describe it. And it's so refreshing. Yeah.
So refreshing.
That's better than that
Absolutely.
terrible cucumber. That's better than that cucumber water.
right?
I know.
That.
That wasn't a
I
good
don't like
suggestion. I know.
Oh my God.
No, but I've seen people do that, and they're like, "Oh, it's refreshing," and everybody has their preferences for
Oh,
sure.
and I think you're so right in how to. My dad got me he did a challenge when I was like 14 or something, 15, to drink water for a week. Try it out. And I was like, why would anyone do that? That's like as silly as going for a walk when you have nowhere to go. And
Yeah.
I tried it out, and I've been a water drinker ever since. And I'll be honest with you, I actually feel in this day and age fortunate when you look around and there's so much other stuff available that just does not hydrate you, does not replenish you. And I know I made the remark about drinking water, grabbing up water and just chugging it back. I know, Julia, that's better than not drinking it, but should we be doing that, or is it really just a waste of the water?
I don't want to say it's a waste of the water. It depends on the temperature. Sometimes you drink something really cold, it kind of shocks your stomach, and then your body doesn't utilize it quite the same way. There is some talk about having it more gradually throughout the day. But I mean, if you're thirsty, drink it. Satisfy your thirst. I wouldn't just drink one cup of water, even though I'm still thirsty. I would continue to drink because I feel like it. But it isn't best practiced. If you're aiming to have 2.5 liters of water a day, to drink it in 2 sittings, it's not ideal. It's also a lot on the bladder, right? So
Yeah.
Yes, nice to have it throughout the day. For sure. And I think you would notice, I think most people would notice if they drink all of their water at one time or in like 2, clustered sittings, they're probably going to have some of that dry mouth, some of those symptoms of dehydration at other points throughout the day. I mean, I think maybe hearing this off the bat, people will say, no, that doesn't happen. And then maybe tomorrow try it and actually be in tune with your body and see what happens. And I do think that it does happen for people. I drink a lot of water in the morning, and then in the afternoon, if I get busy, I will forget. And then I'll notice my mouth gets really dry and I do get tired. So I think there is definitely something to that.
And I feel that. I'm one of those people that I always chug it last minute when I feel really, really dehydrated. But throughout the day, I'm not much of a water drinker, so I'll always try to find a way to kind of drink water, whether it's putting lemon in my water, which is helpful, but then I get bored of it after a couple of weeks and I try something new. That I have a problem with that, where I don't drink water until I feel like I'm really dizzy and I have a big headache, and then I'm like forcing myself to drink so much water and I chug it all at once. And and then that's how it is. So I don't like that feeling, but it's and then so I hate that feeling, because the rest of the day
terrible.
I'm like, okay, exactly.
I went through a really big
you feel heavy.
phase. You do feel heavy. Yeah. And the other thing now, the heat is coming in. So your body uses water to cool itself down, and then your cells start to swell. They start to hold water because they're in fear that your body's going to dehydrate itself. So then you really feel heavy because now you're retaining water, which is a sign that you don't have enough, because your cells, they're not flushing out. They're nervous that you're not going to give it enough. And so they hold on to it. And so in the heat, people swell. And that's a sign you need to be drinking more water, get some minerals in you, get those sodium and potassium pumps working with the cell so that the water's not stuck in the cell. It's able to pump in and out of it. But sometimes I think, if you start to swell, you think, oh, I drank too much, but that's really not the case. And that you're going to notice in the heat. You'll notice it's harder to.
Swelling is one of those signs. That's really interesting.
That's why. Yeah, I notice it a lot. Like I swell in the heat. I'll go out and spend the day outside when it's really hot, and I swell. I can tell. Like a ring gets tight on my wrist. My watch band doesn't fit the same.
Wow.
I find it really noticeable, and I do have a heavier feeling, and that I don't have in the wintertime.
Right.
So I really notice it in the summer. And so there is an increased water requirement in the heat, or if you're traveling somewhere where it's hotter.
Yeah, it's interesting when your body actually, you can feel the difference, such as if you have a salad, you just feel suddenly different afterward. Is there, with drinking water, and a lot of us probably steer clear of it because we don't want to be woke up in the middle of the night and have to have a trip to the bathroom or anything like that. Is there a too late? Should you drink water before bed? Because I remember even as a younger years being told, oh no, don't drink it. It just sits there, as if it was like eating a pizza before bed. People would treat it that way.
You don't have to digest water. I mean, food does sit in the stomach. It requires energy to be digesting. It requires like a setting in your nervous system. And when you're falling asleep, that setting is turned off. And so food is different than having water that has no calories in it. However, yeah, you're probably going to have to get up to use the washroom, which is really disruptive. That's a trial and error thing for people. I mean, some people, I'm not good at it. I need to start. If I don't want to wake up in the middle of the night to go like have a pee, then I need to stop drinking early in the evening and really front load my water of my day, right? So stop drinking by 5 to 7. But yeah, you'll pee, which will keep you up. But digestion wise, you don't have calories there. So it's not quite the same as eating. It doesn't do anything to your blood sugar, but it might not be helpful for your sleep wake patterns.
So no
real
benefit.
Feeling that I hate. Yeah.
No benefit to do it. Yeah, I just think, okay, drink it, because I know I have the problem of the coffee. And then I got to remind myself through the afternoon, drink your water. Go ahead, Niz.
Yes.
Yeah, I love coffee more than anything. But anyway, the feeling that I hate is having to wake up and you feel so dehydrated. Your mouth is so dry, so you have to get up and drink. And that first sip really hits. You guys know that feeling?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know it very well. I keep water beside my bedside table.
Yeah. And I, because we had a conversation on this show at one point about starting your body up first thing. I remember Jeff Ryman was discussing this with us at some point. There was something he had read when we brought articles on the show, and first thing in the morning, always put water to kick in your liver and everything. So Julia, wonderful topic.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, it's an important one. Thank you.
Very, very much so. And far more than we realized, just like when we villainized salt so much. Julia Karantjas has been our longest standing nutritionist on the show, and it's been so much fun. We'll never forget the Mookie memories. Ramya brought this up, folks, when making the script together, and reminded all of us on the Mookies when we were working with Chef Mary one time and making some stuff. That was so much fun. Plus, all the homework you'd put us through. Making or trying kombucha, for example, and us getting into the discussion of even potentially getting an interest to make it. Julia, what can I say? It's been beautiful. It's been wonderful. It's a privilege to be able to have you come on and help us out with so many things that made me think about and later say, I should really try to incorporate that. I think the help, the little supports, the little elbowings have been tremendous, and we thank you so much for it, and mostly for your time.
It's been my pleasure. It's been such a joy. I will miss my tapings, but this has been such a lovely experience for me working with everybody.
Thank you. And we'll be checking in with you down the road for sure, I'm sure. And because we've got other programming and stuff like that. And this show, one thing we've got is tremendous resources like yourself. Thank you.
Thank you. Take
Julia
care,
Karantjas,
guys.
Joining us for the final time on the program, and always have great chats. You can go, of course, and check the podcast and go back and catch yourself up on so many of the other segments that we have had, and it's definitely been a blessing. I also started the show, Nazreen, informing them. Now I'm reminding that we have a giveaway on the show. If you live in the Oakville area, the 2025 Oakville Film Festival kicks off this Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. with a film called, and this for our listeners and viewers of some interest in the area, you probably don't want to miss what we've got here. It's called The Blind Sea. And this documentary features Matt Fornston, an Australian surfer with only 3% vision who takes on monster waves in Portugal. We have 5 pairs of tickets to give away. If you'd like to attend, please email info@ami.ca with the subject line Blind Sea. This is for this Wednesday. Get on it. And they're going first come, first serve, and they will send the tickets to you so that you have those. They'll be emailed to you, folks. And again, first come, first serve. So as soon as you hear this, give an email to our marketing department so they can set you up with one of these 5 pairs of tickets. Michael Babcock is back with us. He's got his tech review of this year's WWDC event from Apple, which we always love getting into a conversation about. Michael, welcome back.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Nazreen. It's a bittersweet show today, isn't it?
It is.
Yes.
It is. We need a glass of water.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of water, lots of water.
Oh, for sure. Especially saying all the stuff you've got ahead for us. And we get into these conversations, Michael, and it's just tremendous when you're able to do it. Let's get into the show. Apple's WWDC happened again. So what is it, and why should the everyday blind person even remotely be interested in this?
So it's interesting you threw that word blind in there, because everyday person should be interested in the Worldwide Developer Convention, which is what WWDC stands for, in order to know what's upcoming in the new operating systems that Apple's going to be releasing. Now, this was initially created for developers, it's in the title, so developers can know, hey, what are the tools that we can use to make our apps better on the Apple platform going into September when they actually release these. It's kind of turned into a marketing event, though, now, to get excitement about what's upcoming. We'll talk about that in a moment. But I said it's interesting when you said blind individuals, because actually, if you might remember, back in May, at the Global Accessibility Awareness Day, Apple gave us kind of a, Stephen likes to say, a sneak peek at what's coming up in the new operating systems. And they gave us some specific information related to what accessibility features will be available in the operating systems. And now that WWDC has come and gone, there are people, maybe myself included, who have downloaded the developer betas and are playing with some of these new features as well. So one of the big announcements that was released was, and I'm curious, Nazreen and Kelly, your thoughts on this. Apple has unified the naming of their operating systems. So now everything is something OS 26, Watch OS 26, iPad OS 26, Mac OS 26. What do you guys think about that?
I think get more creative.
I think that, unfortunately, creativity is, how can I nicely say it, overrated. Our society, as much as we say, our society has a habit of saying, oh, I'm bored with this, man. Can't someone change it? But the more things change, the more they stay the same, because that's what we like. It's easier for us. And if you look at shows, for example, the most basic formulas are the shows that go into the top 10.
Yep. I mean, look at the new iPhone.
Yeah.
Dot.
16E,
No comment.
FGH. Oh.
Yeah.
I appreciate the new naming structure as well. Now, for macOS, they did keep the theme of giving it a name, and they're calling that macOS 26 Tahoe. And so that's pretty exciting that they kept that name. I like it because I forget what operating system my watch is on, or my TV is on, or my Mac is on. And so now you just know it's going to be the last two digits of the year following the release. So they're naming it, a lot of people are comparing it to like car releases. So in the fall, you're going to get the next year's operating system. And I think that'll give some continued growth opportunities for Apple with those operating systems. Now I'm pulling at straws, but definitely I like the new naming structure myself.
Yeah. It's simple and clear.
It is. And you know what you're getting, you know what to expect, and you can just add the device that the operating system is running on to know, oh, tvOS 26, watchOS 26, instead of macOS 14, I think, but I'm not sure, because that's how it goes. With the OS releases, there were several new things released. Now I'm gonna kind of glance over this first one, which Apple spent a lot of time on, selfishly because I can't see it. So it doesn't make a huge difference to me. And I've been running the beta, and my wife says she likes it, but she only checked out my phone for 5 minutes while we fixed an issue that I was having. But they have this new thing called Unified Liquid Glass Design. And this apparently is translucent and dynamic elements that are across the iOS 26, iPad OS 26, Mac OS 26, WatchOS 26, tvOS 26, and visionOS 26. See why they needed to unify all those numbers? So,
he couldn't wait to do it, like, hey, here we go, guys, get used to it.
Get into it and go from there.
Embrace.
They also are bringing more Apple Intelligence for on-device AI processing. So according to TechCrunch, there is a way to now activate the visual intelligence from your control center. So if you want, you can take a screenshot and get information from that screenshot by using Apple Intelligence and activating it within your control center. But it also can get information about the world around you, which is pretty darn cool. This was available last year, but it sounds like they're just improving that experience moving forward. This next one is live translations in phone messages and FaceTime. That's pretty cool. Have either of you played with any live translation services?
No, I just look for the day, especially when I've been places. I always think of traveling in Toronto and going to buy something and going in a place, and that communication where people who can see can point to something and I can't, to help it be a little more clear. How much I would love if I could just take my phone out, if it's an understood, hey, I'm not taking pictures of you, I'm not doing anything weird or wacky, but obviously we know we both can't understand each other's language enough. This will help us. I can't wait till it's real time and able to do it that way in a real environment, like you were just talking about, environmental controls or knowing what's around me. I mean, I remember the days of having the phone and obviously you couldn't even find out the temperature outside your place. Now you can. Like, it's all come to be.
I play with on the Ray-Bans, slight divergent topics. I got the live translate feature and I'm like, I gotta try this out. So it is a really weird experience to watch a YouTube video in Spanish and have the English translations in my glasses.
I want to try that.
It's amazing. So if you haven't, try playing with that, especially if it's available. So that's
Can it work
coming
through the microphone? Like, like just sitting in front of your television or whatever?
Yep. So I watched a YouTube video that was in Spanish, and it heard the YouTube video through the speakers of my computer and just translated using the English voice that I have on the Meta Ray-Bans.
Gosh, tremendous.
I love that.
It's amazing. There's a new design to the phone app. They're adding some features, including smart call screening. You can alter some of the you can make it so it sorts some of your messages out for you. And it has my favorite feature, Hold For Me, which will allow your phone to hold for you. Except for right now, again, this is in beta, it does alert me whenever it says your call is important to us. So, fun times.
Oh, no.
Why am I waiting so long if it is? It's a crazy triggering too.
Before we go, I do want to mention two quick accessibility things that were brought up. VoiceOver now has the ability to reset your VoiceOver settings. So if you need to reset your VoiceOver settings to factory default, you no longer will have to reset all of the settings of your phone, which is what you used to have to do. So I'm so glad that that has been broken out, and you can do that. And then also you can share your accessibility settings with someone else or with another one of your devices. I did read and hear over the last couple of days that there is an iCloud syncing feature for accessibility settings, so it should apply to all of your settings over that are connected to your Apple account.
Fantastic. Michael, since we lost Tom Decker, you've been filling in his giant shoes, doing Tech Talk here on Kelly and Company. Thank you for being an incredible treasure trove of knowledge, covering everything under the sun when it comes to accessible tech, and encouraging us to try different things, especially the stuff that makes us a bit nervous. You've been great company to us and a loyal, very much supporter of the network, and we know it's not the last time any of us hear from you out here on the network. But my friend, thank you so much for the support you've given this show before you were even involved in it.
Well, thank you guys for giving me the opportunity. It's been fun. And a huge shout out and thanks to Ramya for maybe nudging me every once in a while saying, hey, what are we talking about this week? So that's been well appreciated. So thanks a lot, Kelly, Nesreen, and everyone else involved in the show.
Well,
Thank you.
Very impressive, all the things that you are involved in, the way that you would keep up on podcasts, the encouragement you'd give us. And even on the worst days, and we know, like everybody, you have them, you came out here with a smile, Michael, and just brought light to everybody. So thank you kindly.
Of course. And one last quick thing, going back to your previous segment, the advantage to drinking water is when you go on cruises, you can save a lot of money. Just saying.
Yeah, unless you like vodka and water or something like that. Michael, it's been a blessing. Thank you, man.
Thanks a lot.
Michael Babcock joining us on the program, and we have had again today a wonderful show talking to some of the folks that have graced our Monday slots or been with the show for a while. We have a lot more of these conversations. If you haven't had a chance yet, go register. Try to get those tickets if you're in the Oakville area. If by chance you've missed it, oh my gosh, check us out on YouTube or, of course, via the podcast. And maybe there's a pair still available. On tomorrow's show, what does accessible travel look like when it's done right? Marco Pasqua takes us on a journey through the Kennedy Space Center and aboard 2 of the world's most accessible cruise ships to highlight where thoughtful design meets inclusion, ladies and gentlemen. From tactile elevators to accessible balconies. All these small details are creating impact. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Fedora's off to you, man.
Thanks for tuning in to Kelly & Company. Follow us on all social media, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more.